Hello, and today's video, welcome everyone. In today's video, I'm going to talk about PMI-CP. So I have prepared a presentation. I will share it just right now so you can follow up with me, okay? Entire screen. So I'm gonna share my entire screen so we can follow up with me. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to talk about the new certificate of PMI called PMI-CP, and be aware that this is going to be the information here are for November 2023. So if you are watching this video later on, maybe you should check the information because PMI sometimes changes information related to costs or some information related to the data of PMI-CP. For those who are going to watch my first video, my name is Yassine Tounsi. I have more than 12 years of experience in project management. I am certified PMP. I have written several books about PMP as well and project management in general. And recently I have obtained the PMI-CP as well. And I have also wrote a small book about PMI-CP, which I will talk about it later. So the construction professional is a new certificate, as I said, and it stems from a need that PMI identified. The construction projects nowadays have become increasingly complex, and on the other hand, the skilled labor is not sufficient to this huge increase. And what accentuates the problem is the retirements, which are draining the talents nowadays. For example, in the US, 41% of construction workforce is expected to retire by 2031. And we already know that in the construction field, there is inherent aversion to technology. So all these elements are added to the lack of training and lead to PMI to think of a certificate for project managers and professionals in the construction industry. But there is another reason I think that lead to the PMI-CP is this is related to PMP takers or PMP aspirants. A lot of PMP aspirants are thinking that Agile is taking a huge part within the PMP. So they are thinking for construction, what should we focus on? And maybe this certificate replies to the need for this specific portion of people who are thinking about taking PMP, but they are not sure because maybe there will be other alternatives better for their field. So let's talk here about the PMI-CP a little bit. It's a professional certification for construction and built environment projects, which means that it's not necessarily for project managers. It could be for engineers, for architects, whether you are working on the field or whether you are on working on office. All people involved in construction and built environment could take this certificate. So this certificate is launched in August 2022 and provided by the PMI. Project Management Institute, for those who don't know it, is established in 1969, and it's a non-profit organization with headquartered in Pennsylvania, USA. So the PMI is advocating for project management professional, and it conducts research, offering certifications, networking, events, etc. And it has more than 1.6 million certificates holders. So over 1 million for PMP alone, and the rest are for these different certificates, which are the CAPM for Associated Project Management, for business analysis, program management, portfolio management, risk management, um, and the schedule professionals, and as you can see here, the PMI-CP as well. So as I said, PMI-CP is brand new, and the process for taking the PMI-CP is long. That's what we will see later. That's why from its launch in last year to date, to this date, we have only around 75 or 70, oh, 50, 57. Um, 57, this is the countries that I have checked. Maybe there are people in different other countries that I did not find. Maybe around, let's say around 60 people certified so far. For those who would like to know how I get this information, you can go to PMI registry, write in Google PMI registry, and we can do the exercise right now. Actually, you do this PMI registry, and you check here the PMICP, and you check, for example, let's check the United States. Maybe the number increased in 1 or 2 days. Um, it takes a little bit loading. Here we go. Still 26 people certified. So going back, so this is how you can find out the number of people certified for each certificate. I check it for other countries which usually have a lot of PMP certified as well, but I did not find any PMI certified in these countries. All right, so in order to take the certificate, there is no education requirement for it, but you need 3 years at least experience in the construction field in the last 10 years. In addition to the experience, you need to take on 7 course modules and pass 3 micro credentials. There, out of the 7 modules, there are 3 courses that require that you pass a small exam of 60 questions to 75 questions, and you need to pass those, let's say, micro exams in order to get the micro credentials. The micro credentials do not expire, so once you get it, the credential is forever. And for an approval of experience, you don't need, the projects should not be overlapped. It doesn't matter your title, if you are project manager or you are an engineer or you are an architect, it doesn't matter. And some applications are audited. In the PMP, around 20% are audited. Maybe the same percentage applies to the PMICP as well. And once you are audited, they will ask you for justifications for your experience. So be aware that once you provide your experience, you should think of the audit process, and you should be able to provide justification if it is required. Now, regarding the micro credentials modules, we have 3 modules: the Project Communication Pro, the Performance and Materials Management Pro, and Technology and Innovation. So these are the 3 modules that requires exam that you pass. The other modules, you just follow up the course, complete the course. It's an online course, and that's it. So you complete the interface management, the scope and change order management, the contract and risk management, and execution planning and built environment. So if I go in the content of each module, it will take a lot. Maybe if you like to have a separate webinar about the content, an overview of each of them, we can have that in a separate video or live. All right. So Even though you go through these modules and you think that the exam will be based on that, actually it is not. The exam is based on the exam content outline, and the exam content outline is a document provided by PMI, and you can download it for free from the PMI website. So you go here in the construction section of the PMI website, you scroll way down and you find this one, you click on download and you get it. So this document explains what's inside the exam. Um, if I go way here, you can find that the exam is split in 4 domains. The contracts management, which makes 51% of the exam, the stakeholder engagement, the strategy and scope management, and lately the project governance. So all this, the percentage that the exam is made of. And later you in this document, you will find the details of contracts management. For example, here, contracts management, there are one task about management risks, the second task about how to apply risk tools appropriately, third task, fourth task, fifth, sixth, seven. Okay, so there are 7 tasks related to the first domain. And if you check in, you will find the second domain, and here it has only 4 tasks and so on. So this is the areas where that you will your final exam will be based on. So you should check all these items and try to understand all these items before taking the final exam, because the final exam is actually based on that. All right. So as you can see here, the domain name, the tasks, and the tasks name here, and here, and these are called enablers. So these are the enablers, for example, utilizing Obeya or the big room to enhance program activities. So you should know this technique and how it improves coordination of the construction team. All right. So moving on, here is the 4 domains that we have checked. So the most focus should go to the contracts management, then the strategy and scope management. There is a lot of questions related to these 2 domains, so this should make all of your focus. Um, then let's talk a little bit about the strategy for studying the exam. Actually, it's a long process. Um, Personally, I took 6 months of preparation. It's sporadic. I sometimes stop preparing, then I continue back after a few weeks, etc. So it's not continuous preparation. However, I would recommend 2 to 4 months of preparation. That's good because the information are fresh in your mind and you can get questions right based on your memory. Um, if you take longer time, maybe you forget some information down the road. You can start by taking the online courses one by one. This will require 1 to 2 months, let's say. Maybe if you do an online course per week, this requires 7 weeks. So it's a bit more than 1 month. Then you need to take the 3 micro credentials. So there is 3 micro credentials. I would recommend that you just take the micro credential after taking the course. Don't delay it until you finish all the resources and you take the micro credential. Just you buy a course and you take the micro credential and then you move on to the next course. So this is the a better way of how to deal with the 7 courses. And then once you finish all this, you submit for the final exam and you schedule your exam. So if you are pretty much confident with the first step, you can like finish in 2 months. But if you'd like to continue and read more after you finish the 7 modules, you will get the whole content of the courses as a document. It's over 800 pages. So skimming that will be very helpful to remember the key steps, the key methods. There is a lot of information actually, and some information are critical to understand because some questions are relying on that. So keep that in mind before taking the final exam. And once you take the final exam and you get the certificate, it doesn't end there, because the certificate, like the PMP, its life is 3 years. So after 3 years, you need to renew it. And for renewing it or maintaining it, you need 30 PDUs, professional development units. We'll talk about it a bit more later, but for now, you need to keep in mind that your first step is just to get the online training modules one by one and finish them. And those will be the most important thing that lead to getting the certificate. Okay. Taking the exam, you have 2 options like the PMP exactly. PMI partners with Person View, which is an authorized test center, and you can take the exam in person. There's a lot of centers around the world, or you can opt for a remote settings. Actually, I personally took a remote settings. I just downloading software and I used it to take the final exam. So it's a smooth process. It works great for me. Just you need to keep in mind that you need to show all your office before you start and keep your identity just on hand to show it to the proctor. And it's not like it's not it's working fine for me. For some people, especially for the PMP takers, I see some complaints about it, but actually it was straightforward from my experience. Time wise, the exam is 170 questions on 3 hours 50 minutes, which is 230 minutes. And there are 2 breaks. Actually, I recommend very much taking these 2 breaks because the exam is too long, actually 4 hours just concentrating. So 10 minutes break is just a relief to like drink some water, go to the bathroom, get a fresh air, and then go back and continue the remaining questions. So from my experience, I would recommend very much taking the breaks, and also recommending the time management. Before you take the exam, take notes of how much you should spend for each question. Um, Here is a sample calculations for the maths that I did. For one question, you need 81 seconds to finish the exam on time. So for 22 questions, you need 30 minutes. Okay, so for you, when you are, for example, taking the exam at 4 o'clock, at 4:30, you need that you completed around the 22 questions. If you are completed less than that, then you most probably you are behind schedule. If you are completing more questions in 30 minutes, then you are good and you can continue using that pace. Same applies for the first set. After completing the 57 questions, it should you should complete them in around 117 minutes. Actually, the timer runs, and you can spend more time on the 57 questions. So, for example, if you finish the first part in 1 hour 30, you means that you should hurry on in the next set, because you don't have enough time later on to finish on time. So this is important, and you should always keep in mind with time. Okay, so now let's talk about the cost structure. These are the 7 modules. These are the 3 micro exam. Like you can see here, there is exam at the end. And for the micro credentials, the price is a bit higher than the other courses. Like you see here, it's 140 US dollars for these courses and $69 for the other courses. PMI could change this pricing in the future, so you can just go for each of these modules. You go to communication, for example, and you check the price here. Okay, so the cost of all the modules is $696, and the cost of the final exam is $349. So all is about $1,045. Um, in case of failure in the micro credentials, $35 are fees to retake the exam. Even though it's much more easier for the micro credential to pass, but you should prepare for them, because I know someone who did not pass the micro credential because he spent too much time thinking on questions, and he left with too many questions unanswered, and he failed it. So you should take it seriously as well. Even though the questions are more direct than the final exam, you should prepare for it. If you reschedule your exam within 30 days of your scheduled appointment, you will be charged a fee of $70. In case of failure, you need to retake the exam. There is no like information about how much fees you should pay. I did a lot of research, but I think it's the same fee here. If you change or reschedule beyond the 30 days. So I think it's $70 as well, but not sure about this information. After obtaining the PMI-CP, a fee is required to maintain your certificate. For the PMP, for example, it's $150. For the PMI-CP as well, I did not find the information because, as you know, it's still everyone who took the certificate already have 1 year or less. So still, maybe PMI did not decide about how much you should pay to renew the certificate. Unlike the PMP, PMI membership doesn't reduce the PMI-CP exam fee. If you know the opposite, you can share with me. As far as I know, there is no indication or information by PMI that PMI membership has any influence about the PMI-CP exam. As I said, these prices could change, and you should always check the last information provided in the PMI website. Okay. So as I said, to maintain the PMI-CP, you need 3 years. You need to collect 30 PDUs within the 3 years and pay a maintenance fee. So how you can collect the 30 PDUs? As you can see here, there is 2 ways. The first way is that you educate, you get knowledge down the road, and the minimum is 18. So you can take, for example, the complete 30 uh, by educating yourself. And also there is another way, is to give back. Giving back, you have a maximum of 12. In this slide, I could explain the difference between education and giving back. As you can see in this left side, you can attend a webinar or course or organize meetings, organization meetings, attending meetings. or reading a book, or anything that you receive information from. Giving back, on the other hand, is when you are creating content or giving a presentation or anything that you give to the community. So you have 12 hours maximum, which is 12 PDUs, to claim for the giving back. And for education, there is no limit. You can claim as much as possible, even more than 30 PDUs within the 3 years. And in this case, your like extra PDUs will be available for you after the uh, the 3 years. I mean, will remain available for you for the next cycle of 3 years. Okay. All right. So this a quick introduction to the PMI-CP. Since the challenges I faced for preparing the PMI-CP, I decided to write a small book of preparation, which is available on Amazon. It's actually the first book on Amazon about the PMI-CP. It has 45 questions, and the questions are the format of the questions are close to the PMI-CP exam. So you can check my book on Amazon. As well, the same content I have also shared on Udemy as well. For those who are watching this webinar, I have created a coupon code um, which is only for 5 days. It expires after 5 days. You can use it, promo $9.99, to get this simulation for $9.99. um, which is here is the resource I have. Um, I was thinking that this helps the aspirants to get a clear idea about the content of the final exam, and you can also get it to make it helpful for you. All right, so that's all. Let me check if you have any questions. Um, if you have any questions, I can answer you. Otherwise, I hope my presentation will be helpful and encouraging to follow up with your PMI certification. How can I contact you? Actually, you can contact me by email. This is my website, yassintunsi.com, and I have wrote an article. So this is contact@yassintunsi.com. You can send me an email as well. On LinkedIn, I am available. I answer all messages on LinkedIn. Um, there is something that I forget to mention about PMICP here. I have wrote an article which is published today only. It has all the information I mentioned. In addition to that, you can find some also tips and tricks here, PMI-CP exam tips, the things that I think could be helpful for you to prepare the exam. So this is, I think I stopped sharing. So here is the link, and my contact will be available in the contact page. All right, so thank you all, and hope you good luck with your PMI-CP certificate. And if you have any questions, you can write in the this video will be also on YouTube. You can write any comment you have, and you will find also the useful links on the video description. Bye bye.